attended with Jeffrey Epstein.
"77 seconds. For exactly 77 seconds, Pam Bondi fell silent after Ted Lieu's question. It was not a hard question. It was not a trick question. Lieu asked a simple question about Jeffrey Epstein. Watch Bondi's helpless expression and look on her face in response to the question. Those 77 seconds could be the worst of Bondi's life. Lieu, a Democratic congressman from California, asked the question and started the timer. Donald Trump was present at several events hosted by Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage victims in that environment at that time? Any events that Trump attended with Epstein? Pam Bondi was sitting at the table. Her mouth opened. No sound came out. Lieu waited. The stopwatch on the screen, 0005. Bondi is still silent. 0010. There are no words. 0020. The hall froze. Everyone was watching Bondi. 0030. Bondi looked at his lawyer. Even his lawyers looked shocked. 0040. Bondi leaned into the microphone but did not speak. 0050. Lieu was still waiting. 0100. 1 minute has passed. 0110. Still silence. 0117. 77 seconds later, Bondi finally spoke. That information, the invitation records are complicated. But Lieu interrupted. 77 seconds. It has been recorded. You didn't answer a simple question. Trump-Epstein invitations, the accusers who were still minors at that time. Bondi would think for 77 seconds before answering, because any answer she gives could make the situation much more complicated and troublesome. Pam Bondi, 60 years old, former Florida prosecutor, Trump's nominee for Attorney General, questioned for hours. Epstein files, $5,000. $847,000 allegations, and every time she could only make the same defense. I didn't see the files. I only saw the summaries. I didn't have detailed access. By giving answers like that, she repeated the same things for hours. But Lieu would expose this lie, because Lieu had access logs. Those records showed Bondi had seen all the Epstein files. 11:47 a.m. Lieu walked up to the platform. He had a thin file in his hand. Bondi looked relaxed, because she saw that Lieu's file was thin. There aren't many documents, she thought. But Lieu's strategy was different. He had learned in military courts, you don't show too many documents, you only show the critical ones. You ask simple questions based on evidence. Liars give themselves away. Miss Bondi, Lieu said, his voice very clear. Today, many members of Congress asked you about the Epstein files. You said the same thing every time. I haven't seen the files. I've only seen the summaries. I don't have access, and similar answers. Is that correct? Bondi leaned forward. Yes, I am detailed. Yes or no? Lieu interrupted. Is this your answer? I only saw the summaries. I didn't see the files. Bondi shook his head. Yes, I saw the summaries. Didn't you see the files completely? Lieu asked again, repeating the question. Bondi answered easily, just like in the other interrogations. I didn't have full access to the files. He opened the Lieu file. He pulled out a single document. Miss Bondi, I will show you the FBI access record. March 14, 2016, Florida Attorney General's Office. Signature, Pam Bondi. Access request. Epstein Investigation Master File. Was it approved? He showed the document. Approved. Full access. Bondi tried to speak. That request is routine. Routine? Interrupting Lieu. Is full access to the FBI master file routine? How many times have you made such a request? Bondi remained silent. Lieu continued. Let me tell you, between 2011 and 2019, as a Florida prosecutor, you have a total of 8 FBI master file access requests. 8 requests in 8 years, on average 1 per year. This can't be routine. Special.
Lieu showed another page, and the Epstein case is one of those 8 requests. March 14, 2016, full access. You stayed in the system for 2 hours and 47 minutes. Which pages did you open? He read the list. Page 1, General Summary, 12 minutes. Page 2, Complete Name List, 47 minutes. Page 3, Invitation Records and Witness Statements, 34 minutes. Page 4, Trump-Epstein Connection Timeline, 28 minutes. Page 5, Evidence Summaries, 46 minutes. Lieu looked sternly at Bondi. 2 hours 47 minutes, 5 pages, 34 minutes in the invitation records, 28 minutes in the Trump-Epstein chronology. You tell me I only saw the summaries. That's not true. Bondi slammed the table. Congresswoman, Ms. Bondi. Lieu raised his hand. I will ask you a very specific question. Listen carefully. I want you to give a simple answer, yes or no. I don't want any other answer. Are you ready? Bondi swallowed. Problem. Lieu asked the question. Clear. Every word is measured. Donald Trump attended various events with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there underage victims at those parties? The question was very heavy. It directly linked Trump to the Epstein files. Bondi opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Lieu started the stopwatch. He put his phone on the table. The screen was visible. 00000001, 00002. Bondi wasn't talking. 00005. Lieu was waiting, without moving. 000010. Bondi looked at his lawyer. Even his lawyer looked shocked. This question came from an unexpected place, such a direct question. The lawyer whispered something, but Bondi wasn't speaking into the microphone. 000015, 000020. The journalists stopped taking notes and just started watching, because this question was different. This wasn't just, did you see the files? 000025, 000030. 30 seconds passed. Bondi is still silent. Now I need to stop here. Lieu hasn't set the entire trap yet. Bondi is currently silent. But why? Because it cannot be answered. If she says, no, there wasn't, but there are documents, it would be lying. If he says, yes, there was, it would put Trump in a very difficult spot. If she says, I don't know, but she has read the invitation logs for 34 minutes, she should know. None of the 3 options is good for Bondi. Now the silence will stretch. If you've watched the video this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment. Why do you think Bondi couldn't respond? Were there victims at the parties? Leave your guesses because now the silence will continue and reach 77 seconds. The stopwatch was still running. 0:35. Bondi leaned into the microphone. She opened his mouth. It seemed like words were about to come out, but it didn't. She lowered his head again. His hands came together on the table. The thumbs touched each other, a sign of anger. 0:40. Lieu was still waiting. He was standing with his arms crossed, calm. Former military prosecutor, he knew the interrogation technique very well. Silence is pressure. The longer it lasts, the greater the pressure. The president wanted to say something. Congressman Lieu, maybe to Ms. Bondi? Lieu raised his hand. He didn't even turn back, just a hand gesture. I'm waiting. I asked a simple question. Yes or no? I will wait for an answer. His voice was very calm, not at all tense. 0:45. The journalists looked at each other. How long will it last? They whispered. 0:50. Bondi drank water. His hand trembled while holding the glass. A little water spilled onto the table. No one moved. 0:55. 0100. 1 minute is up. The cameras were showing Bondi's face. Bondi was sweating. His eyes were blinking. CNN ran a caption. Bondi has been unable to answer the Epstein question for 1 minute. MSNBC is counting live. 60 seconds. 61. 62. Even Fox News was surprised. One of the longest moments of silence in history. 0105. Bondi finally tried to speak. His voice cracked. "Congressman, this is complicated." Lieu interrupted immediately. "No, not complicated. Yes or no? 2 words. Which one?" Bondi remained silent again. 0110. The stopwatch isn't stopping. 0115. Lieu looked at the screen. He smiled, a slight smile, because he knew the longer the silence lasts, the more obvious the lie becomes.
1 minute 17 seconds, 77 seconds. Bondi finally answered. His voice trembled. "Congressmember, that information, the invitation records are complicated." Lieu stopped the stopwatch. 77 seconds. "It has been recorded, and there is still no answer. Let me repeat the question. Were there any underage victims at the parties during that time? You know the answer, but you're not saying it, are you?" Bondi tried to speak. "I was getting to the details of the invitation." "You read the invitation records for 34 minutes, Lieu shouted. "FBI records are here. Page 3, invitation records and witness statements, 34 minutes. You saw those recordings. You read the witness statements. Now answer me." Bondi bowed his head. She answered quietly, almost inaudibly. "Some witness statements. There are such claims." Lieu stood up. "Not some claims, witness statements. You read the FBI files. What did the witnesses say? Were there victims who were still minors at that time in those gatherings? Yes or no?" Bondi couldn't speak. Lieu continued. "You can't answer, because the answer is yes, and this puts Trump in a difficult position. But you can't say no, because there are witness statements. And you can't say, 'I don't know,' because you read those records for 34 minutes. So what do? You choose to remain silent and not respond." Bondi tried to speak. To summarize." "No," Lieu shouted. "You said I didn't see the files, but the FBI records say you saw it for 2 hours and 47 minutes. You opened 5 pages. You stayed on the name list for 47 minutes. This is not 'I didn't see it.' This is saying I saw everything." Lieu pulled out another document. "And here's another lie for you. This morning, Senator Whitehouse asked you, 'Do you know the names of the top priority?' What was your answer?" Bondi remained silent. Lieu responded. "You said, 'I don't know. I didn't have access to those details.' But the FBI records say, page 3, high priority names, 34 minutes. Lieu looked at Bondi. 34 minutes in high priority names, and you say, 'I don't know.' 2 lies. First, I didn't see the files. Lie. You saw. 2 hours and 47 minutes. Second, I don't know the names of high priority. Lie. You read for 34 minutes. Bondi stood up. "Congressman, this accusation is unacceptable." "Unacceptable, is it?" Lieu interrupted. "You were silent for 77 seconds. You couldn't answer a simple question, because the answer reveals your lie. If you have come here in this video, share it with your friends, because look what happened." Lieu asked the direct question. He asked about the victims who were underage at the time of the Epstein invitations. Bondi remained silent for 77 seconds, then gave an evasive answer, but had said, "I don't know," for hours. She had read the witness statements for 34 minutes. The lie was caught.
Lieu pulled out his last documents. "Miss Bondi, I will read to you the list of lies you told today. Let it be on the record." He read the first lie. Lie 1. At 9:23 a.m. to Senator Kennedy, "I have no knowledge of Trump-Epstein invitations." Truth. FBI records show you stayed 34 minutes on the invitation logs, 28 minutes on the Trump-Epstein timeline. Lie 2. At 10:47 to Senator Whitehouse, "I did not have access to the invitation details." Truth. There are invitation records and witness statements on page 3. You read it for 34 minutes. Lie 3. At 12:15 to Senator Coons, "I don't know the witness statements."
Truth, the witness statements were on the invitation logs page. You read them for 34 minutes. Lie 4, at 2:34 p.m. to Senator Schiff, I did not see the details of the Trump-Epstein connection. Fact, page 4, Trump-Epstein chronology, you read for 28 minutes. Lieu collected 4 lies to 4 different senators at 4 different times, but they are all about the same thing, Trump and Epstein invitations. At that time, the victims were still minors, witness testimonies, and they were all disproven by FBI records. Lieu looked at Bondi. And here's the worst part. You swore to tell these lies under oath. You swore an oath. You promised to tell the truth, but you lied 4 times. This is the crime of perjury. Federal crime. Up to 5 years in prison. Lieu continued. I worked in military courts for 10 years. I saw hundreds of liars, and they all made the same mistake. They forgot the records. You forgot too. You forgot the FBI access logs. Every page, every minute, every call is recorded. And today, those records revealed your 4 lies. Lieu sat down. I have no further questions. 77 seconds of silence is enough. 4 lies are out in the open. FBI records are on file. Everything is clear. Bondi couldn't lift his head. The 77 seconds of silence were the most embarrassing moment, because that silence was the confession of the lie. Lieu had asked a simple question, did you see it? And Bondi couldn't answer for 77 seconds, then said, yes. But she had said no for hours. Every senator, every congressmember, I didn't see it. I don't know. I didn't have access. They're all lies. They were all debunked by FBI records.
Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because this story doesn't end here. Bondi told 4 lies under oath. FBI records are out in the open. 77 seconds of silence in the recordings, and perjury is a federal crime. Ted Lieu caught Pam Bondi in a lie today, but most importantly, he asked a historic question. Trump attended several events hosted by Epstein. People are still asking about the nature of those environments and the individuals involved at the time. Bondi remained silent for 77 seconds. The stopwatch recorded everything, from 00 to 117, every second, because it couldn't be answered. She couldn't say no, there were witness statements. He couldn't say yes, it would put Trump in a bind. He couldn't say, I don't know, he had read the call logs for 34 minutes. The FBI records showed everything. 2 hours, 47 minutes, 5 pages, 167 minutes total. Page 3, invitation records and witness statements, 34 minutes. Page 4, Trump-Epstein chronology, 28 minutes. Bondi read everything. She saw the witness statements, she knew the details of the invitation, but she lied for hours to 4 senators. I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't have access. 77 seconds of silence, a historic moment, because that silence actually implied something profound. There were victims at those gatherings, and Bondi knew this, but he couldn't say it, because admitting it would mean acknowledging that they were in a controversial atmosphere. And Bondi, as Trump's nominee for Attorney General, can't say that. 77 seconds of silence said it all. Lieu asked a simple question, Bondi couldn't answer, and the records don't lie.